A hush forms over the audience as prima donna takes center stage. The orchestra pit crescendos with the melody as the singer moves toward her big finale. You have just witnessed your first opera. Similar to music today, the opera plays a big part in interacting people with the artistic aspects of their culture. Music is only one way that helps engage the younger generation into ways of their own expression. Entertainment classics such as opera music is not all that different than popular artists today. It is through the Paris Opera House that opera's meaning and potential has lived out through the years. After some research of the house, today I will inform you of the construction that was executed over time, the decoration of the house, and the refurbishment of the concept that is the Paris Opera House. The house was commissioned by Napoleon III in 1861. Charles Garnier served as main architect and was responsible for planning and construction of the house. After nearly 15 years, the house held its grand opening in 1875. The house consists of 11 levels. Within the levels include the main theater, library, museum, grand foyer, several salons, workshops, and rehearsal studios. The main theater was divided into two seating arrangements, the first being the orchestra seating. These are floor seats that are purchased separately and are the closest to the stage. The second being the boxes. These are located above the orchestra seating and are grouped seats that range anywhere from 2 to 10. The interesting thing about purchasing a private box is that they offer services. Attendants are called to your seat to take your coat and to provide things such as opera glasses and refreshments. Now that I've discussed the concept of the opera house, let's move into the details of their decor. Within the walls, as well as surrounding the opera house, has commissioned several works from great artists. A total of 250 works were shipped directly to the opera house and are showcased there, many of which were purchased for their unique qualities. However, some were purchased in a group to match the main theme of the opera. The masterpiece ceiling was built above the auditorium and painted by Marc Chagall in 1964. The work features images of more than 80 of the opera's star dancers over the last 74 years. Stated by the Watkins Art Journal, the new opera house decorations had been so extraordinary that most people believed them to be exaggerated. Busts in bronze and stone, medallions, and statues, all representing important people within history, are scattered throughout the house. All works represent Italian, French, German, and English music. The Paris Opera House has an abundance of dated relics. Now let's discuss their means to update the house. The Paris Opera House is making an effort to update their concept. It has been classified as a historic monument since 1923. It is one of the most visited monuments and has received over 480,000 people every year. Most recently, the house works to engage the new generations in the history of the building. Within the last year, the house has set up a museum that displays the construction of each level of the house in great depth. According to the Sistine Fabre, the Google Street View is able to take virtual tours of the house's architecture and decor. Fabre comments, "You can now experience virtually what it's like to be on stage, backstage, in the rehearsal rooms, the costume room, or even on the roof of the opera building overlooking Paris skyline." To close, the Paris Opera House was one of the most luxurious places to behold at its time. Both its interior and exterior overflow with such exquisite craftsmanship, from the plastered moldings to the commissioned artworks lining the walls and ceilings. Each detail is especially crafted for the raw amazement of its audience, both in person and virtual. Everything that the house represents speaks greatly to the community that exists within Paris, France.